Hi friends, hi besties, good morning, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Onose and today we're just going to get right into the topic. We're talking about confidence, self-confidence, taking up space, learning how to take up space. This topic is extremely personal for me. This is something I struggled with for years. If you've been watching my previous videos, I have shared that I was bullied when I was younger. This bullying basically caused me to keep quiet. It caused me to keep quiet about myself. It kept me to keep quiet about my opinions. I was constantly told that my opinions didn't matter. When I would speak, nobody would really listen. I remember so vividly, even when I had friends, I would speak to them in a lower tone so that nobody would say, oh, Onosa said this, because I was so scared of that, and them bullying me because when I said this or I said that. They basically made me feel as if my opinions did not matter in any single way, shape, or form. And so I completely shut down. I didn't realize that I was not speaking up. I was not speaking my truth. I was not giving people my opinions, my feelings on anything until I went to college. And I met people that valued my opinion, that wanted to hear what I had to say. Now, with the help of my therapist, with the help of my friends, I've been able to build that back up. I've been able to speak up for myself. And basically, I just wanted to give y'all all the tips. This is also a constant practice that I do every single day because, as you know, healing, growth is not linear. It goes every single which way. So these are some tips that have helped me in my self-confidence journey and helped me to take up spaces in rooms that I know I belong. You belong in every room you step into, honestly. So I do realize that when we say taking up space, it may seem like a confusing concept or something to get a little bit clearer on. Basically, taking up space is letting your opinions, letting your emotions, anything that you think about something be heard. Also, allowing yourself to have a presence in the room, allowing yourself to fill up that room fully as you are. You come as you are. We're not sinking down or shrinking to fit into like a small box. No, we're taking up our fully expressed self inside the room. The first one, I usually like to start off with my action steps, but the first one is super important because you can't do anything without this first one. And this is allowing yourself, giving yourself the permission to take up space. Yes, from experience, it's kind of hard and we expect permission from others to take up space. But the real trick is if you don't allow yourself to take up space, if you don't allow your feelings to be heard, if you don't let your opinions be heard, nobody's going to do that for you. You have to let yourself do that. And how I kind of came to this realization is through when my friends in college would want to hear what I had to say. But because of the multiple years of shutting down and not letting myself be heard, even though they had given me the permission, I myself had not given myself permission to speak my truth, to say my opinions or my feelings, or let it be validated. So when you give yourself that permission, then other people's permission can come forward. But we're not looking for their permission at all. I'm just saying that as a person, you need to give yourself that. You have to say, and these are you can say these affirmations to help. My opinions are valid. My feelings are going to be heard. I am important. I take up space in this room. The same way you listen to others, because I know you all are very intense listeners. I know you're great listeners. The same way you let other people's feelings be heard, other people's opinions be validated or not validated, you let them know that they can speak in this room safely, is the same thing that you're going to do to yourself. The second tip, this one actually kind of piggybacks off the first tip, and this is allowing yourself to take up space gradually. And we can start with safe spaces. When I was first coming into my journey of taking up space, I started doing it with myself. And then I started doing it in my really small friend groups where I know they loved me, they cared for me, and they validated me. And even if they didn't validate me, they heard me out. And if they had an opposing opinion to something or an opposing emotion, we both hear each other out, a safe space to grow. So starting doing this in, whether it's your small friend group, or if you feel very safe in your family, maybe having that conversation with your family, or maybe you feel very safe with your mom, doing that with your mom. Basically find a very intimate friend group that you can start very small with. And then from there, you'll find it easier to step up and to speak out in other spaces when you start doing it in smaller spaces that feel safe already first. The next tip is based off of fake it till you make it / lots of physical transfer into emotional and lots of emotional transfer into a physical. And this is picking up a practice that allows you to take up space. So this practice can be like a yoga practice, a stretching practice, Pilates, and I'll talk a little bit more about hobbies later, but right now when I'm saying picking up a practice that allows you to take up space, I mean something that physically, and I'll go to vocal in a minute, but something that physically lets you take up space, because the more we're free to open up, we release those emotions that we have, and we're actually able to take up space with our voices too. So think of stretching. When you stretch, you put your hands up, you're basically taking up space in the room, you're filling up space, you're taking up air, energy, you're allowing it to flow. By doing that, you translate to your inner self, okay, I'm safe. My brain is like, I'm safe to take up space physically in this room, and I can do so too mentally. And then vocally and verbally, you can do this through like singing or screaming, because you're letting your voice be heard. You're shouting and you're saying, I can take up space with my voice too. I can let this whole room be filled with my angelic presence of a voice, basically. Highly recommend. Part of my journey is stretching helped me a lot. Being able to take up that space physically made me feel like I could take it up mentally as well. So helpful. Basically, giving yourself the space to show up every single day with these things. And this can look like a good posture. When we are sinking back into ourselves and when we're not allowing ourselves to take up space, we like to hunch in, we like to put our heads down. And so if we're doing this, we're not really confident in what we're saying. We're not allowing ourselves to take up space and be fully present and be there and allow ourselves to be fully heard. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our head up, we're going to put our shoulders back, and we're going to speak. We're not going to speak in small, tiny whispers. I used to do that when I was smaller. I used to speak in small, tiny whispers because I was scared of what other people would think if they heard what I had to say. But no, we're confident in what we're saying. Whether it's right, whether it's wrong, it's our opinion. We're just going to say it because what can happen? We're taking up space. So we're going to put our heads back, shoulders up, our heads up, our shoulders back, and then we're going to speak. And then the next way we're going to do this is verbally as well. And so we're going to give ourselves a day, or at least once a day, we're going to show up in a way that kind of scares us. And this is actually a tip that I learned from someone else. So every single day, do something that scares you, whether that's answering a question in class or speaking up at a meeting. But basically, if you're not used to doing that, the more you get used to it is the more you're able to take up more space every single time, and you'll get so much more comfortable with time. This is another quote that I heard. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's the only way we can grow. We can only grow when we're uncomfortable. So that's what we're going to do. It may seem really scary at first, but the more you become accustomed to showing up every single day, the more at least once a day you do something that scares you, such as talking. And honestly, I did this all the time in school. Like sometimes I'll be scared to answer a question, but I'll be like, you know what? I already wrote down in my attendance for the day, I'm going to step out of my comfort zone. So I'll like talk in class to when my teacher asks a question. Just small things that didn't seem like they used to scare me, and I'm just stepping out of my comfort zone and doing them. So I urge you to do them with me too, so that I'm not doing them alone. My next one is one that more plays into self-confidence mentally, and this is picking up a habit that you might be good at. So you will never know if you're good at something, a hobby that you're good at. You'll never know if you're good at something unless you try, so there's really no way to know this unless you try. But by developing a hobby that you're good at, and this can be like sports or anything. This can be hockey, football, basketball, ballet, hip hop, whatever it is. Basically, the whole background is you're developing confidence in this skill, and you know that you're bomb AF. You're great at it. And so the more you do this, the more self-confidence you gain in that skill. And a lot of times this self-confidence may transfer to other parts of your life. This allows you to take up space while you're doing the skill, and the more you feel confident taking up space during the skill or doing the hobby, it's more likely to bleed into other aspects of your life, and you'll feel more confident showing up in other spaces with that confidence you gain from that sport or from that hobby, whatever you're doing. My last kind of reminder, it's like a tip/reminder, but this is remembering that this is a daily practice. If you are not used to showing up / taking up space for yourself / self-confidence / self-esteem, it's going to be challenging at first. It was extremely challenging at first for me to do this, and sometimes you may feel sad because you'll look back and you'll be like, I really wish I spoke up in those times. I know they wanted to hear my voice, and I felt like I betrayed masses by keeping quiet about something. So give yourself the grace. Do not beat down your younger self. She was simply dealing with things the way she knew how to deal with things. She was acting on things based on what happened in her past, and we're not blaming her, we're not blaming him. We're simply working forward to be a more confident person. We are letting ourselves take up space in every single room that you enter. Y'all, I need to do another talk on taking up space in every single room that you enter. It's a practice, y'all, an every single day kind of practice. And I know it can be scary. I know it can be very uncomfortable at first. But the only way we're going to grow is by embracing that uncomfort. So I'm so proud of you. Love you. Bye, besties. I will see you in the next episode. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to talk about. Like, subscribe, give a huge thumbs up. Share with me your favorite tip. I love y'all. See you later. Oh, also, if y'all like my hair, I blew out. I wanted something different. She's cute. Very cute. Yeah. I don't know if I need to lay these down though. Anyways, we need to go. Bye, y'all. Love you.